Peace.
This is Joshua Law, Mr. PhD. You're just now entering the cipher called Real2reel360. K-Wise.
Peace, God.
Bring that beat in, kid.
Indeed.
Peace.
Yeah. What's going on, party people? Welcome to the Real2reel360 show. Let's get it in.
We do the knowledge and wisdom so you can understand. Real360 shows in full command. We changing the game for how it all was taught. From bondage to freedom to an independent thought. Yo, the show is here to bring about a change for real. To lighten everyone so we all know the deal. 360 degrees is a fact. We created the show to give our love back to our communities so we can know what's going on and give them the support from knowledge to born. So if you're ready to learn, then it's time to go. Sit back and relax and enjoy your show. Peace.
Peace and blessings. What's going on, people? What's good? To Allah's mighty 5% nation of gods and earth, to all the human families of the planet Earth, I give you a love, peace, and happiness high salute. Welcome to the Real2reel360 show. We have a dynamic episode for you this evening. So without further ado, we just going to get into it. My co-host will be on shorter later on in the set, but we just going to take it and flow with the go. Our special guest is an expert in the sex, intimate, and love relationship. Or if I said it wrong, please forgive me. And she's going to make that correction. But we're going to bring on none other than Miss Charelle Thomas right now. Please give her a warm welcome to the show. Miss Charelle, how you doing?
I am doing great, amazingly well. Thanks for asking.
All right. You know, I might have stepped on my toes a little bit with saying it, but if you could just give us a brief info and information about who you are and what do you do.
My name is Charelle Thomas. I am a sex, love, and intimacy coach. So I work with powerful, success-driven individuals. I help them create a more fulfilling and satisfying love life. And I teach them how to do this by helping them build a deeper connection with their partner, as well as by teaching them mind-blowing sexual techniques that will leave both them and their partner satisfied, yet yearning for more. So that's what I do.
Wow. You know what? That's great. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot of questions and comments coming across the board tonight because I'm very curious myself as to getting a better understanding of this program and how does one get started as far as the couples? Is it, you know, are you dealing with marriage or other relationship, boyfriend, girlfriend, partnerships and all kinds, or is it just a specific area?
It's all kinds. So I work with couples. I work with individuals who are in a relationship, just one, of the partners, either the husband or the wife. I work with singles, both single men and women, just helping them. Like if, say, they've been single for the last 10 years and they want to cultivate a happy and harmonious relationship, but also helping them navigate the dating scene and actually entering into a long-term relationship as well. So I do it all.
So how do they go about that? It's like, do they fill out a booklet or anything?
No. So how we actually start is they just reach out for help. Like they have the awareness that something isn't right, or either they desire more. So it's more so one of those things like, hey, can you help me? This is what I'm dealing with. This is what I'm struggling with. And, we go from there. But typically a conversation is had, and then we, depending on what the challenge is, what they're experiencing, it can be something that's solved with one particular session, or it could be something that's resolved over like 3 to 6 months. But typically I like getting my people in and out. I like seeing results. I'm an Aries, so I'm very results driven. I'm a go-getter. I like to get it done. But yeah, typically like that's the time span that we work with.
Okay. So how long have you been doing this, if I'm there?
6 years.
Wow.
Technically, I've been teaching about sex all my life, like ever since I started learning about it. But I remember in high school, I went to a predominantly white high school, and it wasn't that many like black guys there. So one of the guys, he said to me in science class, I'll never forget. Well, it was a group of us talking, and he was like, "I'll never be with a black girl." And we were looking like, "Why? Like that's mean as hell." And he was like, "Cause they don't know how to suck dick." And for me, it was just like, wow, like that's the reason. And I was like, I knew in that moment, I wasn't even like sexually active at the time, but I'm like, I'm not gonna have anybody, you know, me not being chosen because of a task that I don't know how to do, and I didn't know how to do it. And it was something that I was never really interested in. But once I just started hearing things like that, seeing things like that, I just started learning. I'm like, this is a skill set that I need to have, you know, in order to keep my man. Same thing like with cooking. It was the same way. I overheard somebody say that, you know, she was young. I think she was like in her 20s, and she had cooked this soul food, like this whole meal. Like she had to be like 19, 20, something like that. And she was like, I need my husband. I want to meet my husband. So it was like one of those things that I heard. And she was saying that she learned how to cook so that she can get and keep her man. So it was the same thing along those same lines. I'm very much motivated by love. So for me, when I hear certain things, like when it comes down to love and relationships, I'm like, nobody's gonna outdo me. Like you just can't. So when I heard that cooking and amazing sex will help get and keep a man, I'm like, I got to get on top of it. So I did. I started studying at a young age, even before I was sexually active. I'm reading books. I'm looking at videos. Like I'm doing it all, taking courses. And then my family and my friends, they knew about it. So when we would have get-togethers and stuff, they'll be like, Charelle, come teach me how to do this. What'd you learn about doing it? And like we'll end up in the bedroom or in the bathroom, me and the girls, and talking about different things. And the light bulb went off for me when one of my friends was like, I'll pay you if you show me how to do this. And I did. And she was very like cheap. So for her to offer to pay me money, I'm like, oh, I'm on to something here. So that's how I got into it when she said that, like the light bulb went off, and it's been up ever since then.
Okay. Is there like a target area age-wise that you mostly see yourself getting into? Is there like you notice any statistical factors with ages and the groups, or it's just multiple?
Nope, it's multiple. I worked with and currently working with clients anywhere from, I think my youngest is probably like 26, and my oldest, I think she's like 67, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. Wow.
So yeah, it's a broad range, and I can honestly say, like working with the older ones, that has been an adjustment because, like this one of my recent clients, she reminded me of my mother-in-law. So like her demeanor and stuff like that, I'm just like, oh my gosh, like we talk about sucking dick. Like how do I like teach her how to do this? Like I just couldn't get it out of my mind because I'm looking at her thinking about my mother-in-law.
I'm sure sometimes you feel like it's there are a lot of people that feel embarrassed, or do they feel just like shy about certain things that helps us bring it out within them when you do the teachings and your coaching?
That's what I love about like me and what I do, because a lot of people like even before I started doing this, it didn't matter what room I ended up in, where I was at, who I was with, sex always came up. Sex, love, and relationships always came up. And people just say like, I make it easy to talk about. So I don't get a lot of clients who they were shy prior to me, but once they get to me, they're like, man, like you're so easy to talk to. Like, I can't believe how comfortable I am. I can't believe like how easy it is to talk to you about such a delicate subject. But prior to knowing me, like, you know, trying to talk to other people about it, a lot of my clients, like it's taboo. A lot of people don't talk about it. They're not open about it. And those are actually like my favorite kind of clients to work with, those who are reserved and who really don't want to talk about it.
So So basically, how long you figure? I mean, how long is a session, or what is your timeline of it like that with certain couples, or well, with all the couples that you deal with? So
It, like I said before, it varies. Typically when I work with couples, one of the things that I do is I'll work with the husband, I'll work with the wife individually. They each have about a 45-minute session, and then we'll come together as a group. Because one of the things that I learned, like, you know how they have couples counseling and stuff like that, like sometimes it's hard to really be open and vulnerable when you're trying to take somebody's feelings into consideration. So I do individual sessions with both the husband and the wife, and then we come together, because what I found and what I always tell, my couples is like, whatever we discuss is confidential, and say whatever it is that you're feeling. Like, don't try to sugarcoat it because you're thinking that you don't want something to get out there. Like, put it all out there so that it can be handled in a healthy way. A lot of times, like, people are too embarrassed to say how they feel. Like, even I've had one of the couples that I work with, like, the husband was contemplating cheating. And another big thing with working with me is I pick up on energy as well. So I already knew that, but he didn't want to say it. And when I said to him, like, what was coming up for him energetically, he was just like, wow, like, you can see that. And then he finally came out and he was like, yeah, that is something that I've been struggling with. And I'm like, that's huge. Like, that's big. You got to be real about that. You got to share, things like that. Just because you think it and you feel it doesn't mean that it's the truth. So that's why I like handling things that way, where I work with the individuals. When I work with couples, I work with each one individually, and then we come together to work things out and focus on whatever it is that, they want to accomplish.
so what is the hardest factor in some of the relationships? Do you feel it's like the trust, communication, lack of paying attention, or the overness of need, or being needy?
Oh, okay. Hardest thing in relationships. Being real. Being real. A lot of
Absolutely.
people deny how they feel for the sake of a relationship. People are terrified of being alone and being single. So they're willing to put their needs on the back burner, and they're willing to, try to pacify like their partner for the sake of saving a relationship, even though that's not really like what they want. And specifically, like, like I mentioned about the cheating thing, like, you have to be very secure within yourself and secure within your relationship in order to admit something like that. A lot of people are not, like, they're not able to be vulnerable. They're not able to honor themselves. So that's the biggest thing that I always start with when I work with couples is, how's your relationship with yourself? Because you can never be whole in a relationship if you're not, real with yourself, if you're not open, and able to do what you need to do.
One of our comments from people's out there, Miss Kimberly Brooks. What's up, Kim? She says people struggle with the truth. And so
1000%. They can't even be honest with themselves. Like, that's a huge thing. Like, you can't expect someone to be honest with someone else if they can't even be honest with themselves. And a lot of people don't. And I think that's why they do struggle with the truth.
So let me ask this: when the truth is brought out, let's say from both sides, and some may feel that it's hard to deal with the truth, or they rather have dealt with the unknown, the lie part, instead of knowing the truth.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
where,
Yeah.
where, where do we get the the equilateral motion right here to say, okay, if I'm being open and honest, does that make things? Can we make these things right? Can we get back, or can we not necessarily get back, but can we move forward from here in the
Yeah.
way we decide?
So one thing that I always say is energy doesn't lie. So whether you tell the truth or not, your energy is already, putting it out there. It's just a
Right.
matter of accepting it and being willing to own that's what you really truly feel. But for me, what I always tell like couples is, get help from somebody who can help guide you and navigate you through how to be truthful, how to actually approach the situation, and how to handle it. Like, perfect example with the couple that I was mentioning before, how he was contemplating cheating. He loved his wife. He's crazy about his wife, but there were some needs that were not being met that made him go into, okay, what's the solution? I talked to her about it. I tried this, I tried that, but it's not working. I'm not getting the results that I want. And he was suppressing the feelings that he had within, which is why I say all the time, like, that's how men end up in the bed with somebody else, is because they're suppressing that. And eventually, like, the truth come out, like the truth shall set you free. And I think with that particular couple, we were able to approach it, to not only share that with his wife so she can see how much of an impact it was having on their marriage and what was at risk, but it was the way that it was presented. It wasn't like, hey, I'm about to go out and cheat on you. It was the way that it was presented, and it was also solution based. It wasn't just sharing just to be sharing. It was sharing with the solution already in place for the both of them. So it's so important to get help, like, especially when you're going through challenges within a relationship.
Oh wow, that's good. So dealing with uncomfortability, let's say for that, so someone may have uncomfortable opening up. How do you break the ice in that factor, with especially dealing in when they talk about the sex and intimacy part?
Mm-hmm. How do I help couples get comfortable?
Yes.
It's because of my energy. Because of my energy, it creates a safe space that make it easier for them to talk to. So I've been known as the baby whisperer in my family. And the reason being is because anytime, like, there's a crying baby or anything, like, I'm able to bring joy from children, which is, to me, like, it's just easy. But, if a baby has been crying for 10 minutes straight with their parents, you hand that baby to me, I have the baby quiet and silent within 30 seconds and actually entering into peace. Now, the thing with me, the reason why that worked is because I understand that we're energetic beings. I understand that if I can control my energy is going to influence how that baby is feeling. And it's the same thing that I do with couples. Like, if they're uncomfortable, we don't even have to talk about what makes them uncomfortable. They're able to feel my energy and feed off my energy. Kind of think of it like entering into like a spa, like you walk into the spa, you could be uptight, you could be rushing, you could be like, nerve-wracking, like anything, but you enter into this spa and like there's meditation music playing, it's calm, the lighting is perfect, the energy calms you down automatically, regardless of how you were on the other side of that door. But once you step in, it shifts the energy. And it's the same thing like with me. Like, once people enter into my space, I be like, oh my gosh, would they shut up? Like, because it's like, they get to this point where they feel comfortable and they don't have that outlet anywhere else. And they just go like, you do what? Yeah. I remember one time I had an Uber driver. I was so pissed. It was supposed to be a 20-minute drive. She found out what it was that I do, and she ended up driving around in circles for 45 minutes to prolong the trip, to have the conversation. And she was just like, I don't know why I'm opening up with you like this. I never talked to anyone like this, but it's my energy. I believe that's how they get comfortable with it. It's not a specific conversation that we can have.
Peace. Pardon me for being late. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry. How you doing, Miss Charelle?
Good. How are you?
How's the show going for you so far?
So far, so good.
So far, so good.
Yeah.
Okay, my bad, bro. Now, listen. I want to add a question that I want to jump in right quick, and I'm sorry for cutting you off. What made Kay asked it, but what made you want to improve individuals' intimacy life?
Ooh, great question. I feel like it's part of my life's purpose to be a mother and wife. Always, all my life, I always wife and mother. That was like my goal. if you look back on baby pictures, and I mean pictures when I was a little girl and everything, I always had somebody else baby with me. Like it was always, that's what I wanted, that's what I was striving for. And eventually, as I got older, I started seeing the impact. Like, well, first of all, I had this misperception that if I was a master in the bedroom, if I was a master when it came down to sex, that my relationship would last forever and we would just be happily ever after. Like that's what I thought was the key. So that's what led me into studying about sex. But after, losing myself in my marriage and I ended up divorcing my ex-husband, I realized that there was more to it. And it was like, regardless of like how bad I wanted love, regardless of like how good I thought I was or how good I thought I was being, I recognized how much of a struggle so many people have in this area. And again, there's certain things that come easier for me because I do know that it's part of my gifts and my life's purpose to be a wife and a mother. And because of that, I just thought that, no, I know that if I can get to the root cause of it when it comes down to teaching couples how to love one another. Like I wholeheartedly believe like this world would be a much better place. Think about, households, the households that children are raised in. If it's founded on a foundation of love, it's going to be totally different. They're going to grow up to be totally different than if it was a household of toxicity. And for me, that's the difference that I wanted to make. I wanted to have that impact. I love kids. So it's like if I could teach couples how to come together just in love, from a foundation of love, if I could teach them how to succeed in this one area, I feel like it'll have a domino effect on just making this world a better place eventually. I feel like Pinky in the Brain. What do you want to do today? I want to take over the world.
I sit and sometimes I watch your videos, I watch your lives. And I notice how couples come to you to learn how to have the greatest orgasm or how to be better at oral or different type of sexual positions. And I'm like, wow. Like a lot of times I'm like, wow, especially with the conversation. I saw one recently when you were speaking about positions to have great orgasms. How did you how did you come to find out what is necessary to have that earth-shaking orgasm or make your partner have that earth-shaking orgasm?
A lot of studying for me. I was married for 13 years, and that was one area that we never struggled in. But that's because I felt like I was always proactive in terms of like, I literally, like, no lie, guys, I literally thought that if the sex was amazing, everything else would be amazing. So for me, because of me and my personality, like I studied it a lot. I tried different things, and I'm like, if I could just keep this fire burning, then it will help in other areas. And I was telling, is it KY's? I was telling him earlier about how I would study so much that my friends and family would come to me like, hey, how do you do this? Or how to figure that out? And then once I recognized that it was the same challenges that they were coming to me about, it was more so, well, I have this information, let me share it with the world. Because you see it. Like I'm huge. I think I probably own over probably like 100 like sex books. No lie, probably more than that. And this has been like all my life. It's something that I've always been interested in, even growing up. Like before I even became sexually active, my mom got pregnant when she was 14. She had my brother when she was 15. And because of that, she started talking to us about sex at a young age, taught us how to put condoms on, always, instilling like, knowledge about sex, like to us. And even then, like I said, before I became sexually active, I was always reading about books and stuff like that when it came down to sex and just how to have the best sex and what's needed and what to watch out for and so on and so forth. So I've been studying it for a long time.
I can tell from a lot of your lives and Q&As that you have. Now, there's a right and a wrong way to give oral sex, and that's for men and women. Can you speak on that?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Yes, I can speak on it. So one, like energy is everything, which I was already talking. So first of all, if you insecure, you're gonna be trash. Period. Period. If you insecure, if you going into it like, oh, do I know what I'm doing? Like, how do I do this? Like that carries over. So that's the number one thing. If you're insecure, your head game gonna be trash. Period. You got to have some sense of security, some sense of confidence, something to deliver to your partner. So that's that. And then like the other things is being in your head. Like if you down there, and let me ask y'all this is men. If a female attempted to perform oral sex on you when she was, y'all getting nervous. I see y'all over there. Like,
No. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm tuned in. Let's go. Let's get it.
if she was insecure, she really didn't know what she was doing. Like, can you feel that? Let me just say this. Have you noticed the difference between a woman who knew what she was doing, went down there, got right to business, compared to somebody who was kind of like tiptoeing around, like, am I doing this right? Can y'all tell the difference?
Yeah,
absolutely.
The teeth is definitely there.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of teeth in the vicinity.
Exactly.
Don't nobody want to be scarred.
Exactly. But let me ask y'all this: did y'all stop them?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You did.
Yeah.
Probably y'all did. Did y'all tell them why though?
Yeah.
Sure.
Really? Okay. That's great.
Listen. Speaking for me and me only, I'm not a person that really, trips off of that or get off on oral sex as far as women in the head. I really don't. You do. You don't. There's only one time in my life that I ever had it where I actually had an orgasm. That was incredible. Never again. And I'm like, why? Don't know, man. It makes me wonder, is it me? Or was it the person themselves? But it's not a craving or a fantasy for me for that to be like, it's not the tip of the iceberg for me, because my mindset is always that I would please the woman. And I want to make sure she's pleased, because if I can get an implosion in here, the explosion down there is magnanimous. So that's how I look at it.
Got it. I love it. So no,
I'm not that PC with it. No, it was trash. It was scraped up. No, it would never happen again. It would never happen again.
Right.
You tell them that. Maybe that's what I should post about tonight.
No. I didn't say it like that, but I was saying like, no, we're not gonna do this again. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna work on what you're good at.
And it ain't that.
That's that.
You know what? That's very, very common, like more common than people know. In November, November is Fellatio Success Month, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm so excited. I need to post on this too, but so what I actually did is I set a goal to help a certain amount of women actually enhance their fellatio skills, build that confidence, because too many men. So first of all, it kicked off because this lady came to me and she was like, why don't men climax from head? And I was like, they don't. And I was like, well, those few that don't, like, this is why. And I was like, you know what, let's ask the fellas. So I asked the fellas. All of the men was like, they don't know what they're doing, like it's trash, yada, yada, yada. And they talked about how they don't want to tell a female that because then they won't give it to them anymore. So I created November is Fellatio Success Month, set out on a mission to help. I had one client. She has been married, I think, 17 years. And she said she gave her partner, she give her partner head all the time. He only climaxed from her one time in 17 years. And I think she said that was like 2 years ago, but after that, like that was it. She said, can you please help me? she signed up to be part of my mastermind, which is the Art of Fellatio intensive. And tonight is our 4th week. Yesterday, she messaged me and she was like, I did everything you said to do, and he finally came. And I'm like, you see that? Like this is like the difference maker. This same man has been saying forever, it's rare. I can't climax from head. You focus on it. She worked with me. I taught her certain techniques, taught her the energy. First time she did it since being in that course, and he came.
Well, I tell you, I've watched the November's fellatio month. I've watched that.
What do you think about the tips they were given?
They was very interesting. Oh yeah, you got to watch it. You got to watch a lot of the episodes. I'll tell you. She had an episode about anal sex.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. She had an episode about anal sex. She had a few episodes about different positioning where a lady positioned her body certain situations, right?
Yeah.
Now,
let's see.
Yeah. You got to watch it. And there's a Q&A. What is the most asked question when it comes down to sex?
Okay, come down to sex. I thought she was about to say just what I get. I'm like, oh, it's annoying. The most asked question. But when it comes down to sex, let me see. Number one is how to get more.
That was a question the other day.
Yeah, how to get more. Like if their partner isn't into it or they don't want it, like how to get more. That's one. Another one is both men and women. Like I can't climax. I can't climax from sex. It don't matter like what if I'm doing it for women, they start working with me. I've never had an orgasm, or I had an orgasm and it was like 10 years ago. Like, can you help me? Within the end, before we finish working together, they're climaxing, and they're climaxing more consistently. I remember I had a workshop. I think it was the Art of Blowing His Mind. I had the workshop last month. Taught on it. It was a 3-hour workshop. It was over at like 10 o'clock at night. 6 o'clock that next morning, I received messages in my inbox. I had 3 orgasms. I went from none, and I had 3 and that was just a 3-hour work. It was a group workshop. She just listened and applied. Like, it's much pleasure is more readily available to us, especially in the bedroom, than a lot of people know. But it's kind of like that key. Like if you missing that link and you don't know what you're missing, like you don't know how to figure it out.
Right.
That's why it's important to get help. Like don't suffer in silence, especially with somebody who's well versed in it and you know that they can help you. A lot of people will rather keep their money in their pocket than actually do better.
Now, what if you have a partner who isn't into a lot of things when it comes down to sex, far as oral, they're not into experimenting?
I think it's very important to be with somebody who you're sexually compatible with. That's the biggest thing. We were talking about truths. A lot of people are in denial about that their partner just don't get down this way, and they want to change them. Don't go into a relationship expecting somebody to change. Like they were that way when you first met. Like you can't trip, you can't get mad. You say find another one.
Yeah. You know, listen. I got to be real. I'm sorry. I got to be real.
Go for it.
Anal ain't never happening. I'm not doing that. I've been there when I was younger, and listen, I ain't like it then, and I damn sure ain't gonna like it now because in my mindset, that's exit only, and I ain't, that's exit, and shit comes out of there. Let's just be real. Shit comes out of there. Why am I putting my clean thing into a nasty ass? That's just how I see it. You know what I'm saying? Because God forbid if she fart or she lose and stuff come out. I'm like, yo, you giving me the brown meal. That's right. I'm not doing it. Yo, I got everybody laughing, but I gotta be 100. I just think it's never been a thrill for me. Like I said, I did that because that was the end thing to try everybody so forth. But that's not for me. To each is their own, and I do understand. But I also feel like this. Majority of sex to me is 90% mental and 10% physical.
The
Because
brain is number one sex organ.
when you apply that science into it and know the person who you with and y'all study within one another, then it's already there before it's there here.
Correct.
And it's just once you do that intimacy, it's a good explosion. You know what I'm saying? It's a matter of meeting of the minds to me.
Yeah.
Now, speaking on that, not speaking on that part, but when it comes down to like oral sex, like growing up, it was just, you know what I'm saying, man eating of a JJ and licking of a JJ, woman giving head to the shaft. Now it's sticking their tongue in each other's butt. Now what's the situation with? Yeah, man, folks are eating booty like groceries nowadays. They eating the booty, man, and
that's that term, that corner phrase, toss your salad, come from.
Yeah, that's what toss that salad is, eating the booty. Because I noticed, like, because you look at like some of these R&B singers and some of these actresses and actors, they have went publicly talking about they've eaten booty, like Trick Daddy. He's part of Eat the Booty Gang. Tank Love, he lays on his back with his leg to the back of his head with his butt in the air and let his woman play with his butt. Vivica Fox, she eats booty.
You got the whole list.
I told you I was ready. I had some questions. I was ready. Normally I don't have no questions. I just let it go, but I got some questions. What is the erogenous zone around the butt? What is the thing about people wanting to mess with the butt? Like, there's
nerve endings there. Like you can't deny it. There's nerve endings there, and then I think it also has to do energetically. Like it's this taboo. It's this forbidden thing. It's not something that, quote unquote, like it's as common as having sex. So and let me say another thing. I was doing a thing talking to guys, log cabin. Like a lot of guys are into, they want to perform not oral sex, anal sex on their partner, but it's more so if he's convincing her to do it. Like if the male is convincing her to do it. If she is like, oh, come on, like I want you to do me in my butt, like it's a turn off for them. But if she's somebody who typically don't allow it, then that's when they like, it's more so one of these things. I want to see if I can get you to do this. That's the only thing like that I'm into, is because, I can make you do this, and it's not common for you to do. So I think it's more so energetically and a mental thing.
Okay. Yeah. There's a question from the
I'm gonna pull it up
right there.
Here's the question. The women who are celibate, especially ones over 40, why do they think a man should wait when the sex could be disappointing? Does that even make sense? I get the spiritual ones, but most are saving themselves. These born again virgins are tiring. Let's go with the first question, where it says, why do you think a man should wait when the sex could be disappointing?
Okay, why do I think a man should wait? I think a man should wait because for men, sex is more so like playing a video game. Like it's more so a simple pleasure. When studies were conducted that shows that men get a similar satisfaction, like if they're playing basketball and they're winning the game, when it comes down to sex. So for men, if they enter into it and they get the sex and there's no other foundation or substance there, they're ready to go. Have y'all ever heard of post-nut clarity? Like in the beginning, they see this woman, they think she amazing, they pursuing her. Then the minute they get in the bedroom, they get that nut. It's like, no. Like they see things that, you know, they weren't seeing before. And like they even down to the minute, like they nut, she want to cuddle. No, you know, you ready to go? Want me to call you an Uber? Want me to go? Like it's that simple. And like that's what like to men it's simple, but for women it's more of an emotional thing. Like when we give ourselves to a man, when we have sex to a man, oxytocin is released, and what actually happened is the cuddle hormone, it's the love hormone. We start thinking we falling in love with this man and don't even really know who he is, all because he made us come. Like it's not that simple. I find myself getting loud. My kids on the other side of this wall, so let me pipe it down a little bit. But I think that that's like the biggest thing, and you know why it's important to wait, because a lot of times people make decisions based upon sex. If it's good, the man gonna want some more, even if he get that post-nut clarity. Like he's still gonna want his space, his distance. But for women, we respond differently. We actually attach, and he ready to push away. Like I'll come back when I need that nut again. But for right now, leave me alone, leave me be.
Now that's interesting because he just came back with a statement that says, whoever this Facebook user is, I don't know who it is, but I want the sex out the way, then I can see the real female, if we even like each other. Now, how much does the sex actually make you see a person for who they are? I don't get that one.
That's
Peace crazy. I don't get that one.
Yeah, that's something he made up. That's something he decided to do. That's not, you don't lead with sex. You know how much? Let me watch what I say. If I was to lead with sex, how many men would be knocking down my door? Like,
could you stand up after that? That'd be the whole thing, like, because there'd be so many men. Could you stand up? Like,
yeah, like you got that doesn't show you a true person's color. Like, it's not. That's something that he actually or she made up, and that's what they use. Now, I bet you that person is probably a Scorpio, because Scorpios, that's how they actually ask them, like, what's your sign? But Scorpios do actually lead with sex because sex allows them to connect emotionally. Scorpios are not really emotional outside of the bedroom, so they need that in exchange for sex. Oh, a Libra.
He's a Libra.
Yeah, but sex does not.
Let's throw us Libras under the bus. Why don't you just throw us Libras?
Exactly.
Wait a minute.
Sex does not allow you to see two colors. If anything, it distorts the view. It distorts.
The reason why she's saying that, that's great. She's saying that because she says, when I'm done, get off of me. She don't want to cuddle or do nothing like that. So I said she was funny. She said, I'm a dude. You know, some dudes want to cuddle. I'm gonna let some dudes want to cuddle after they get that one or two or three. I mean, you know,
not most.
Some men are sensitive.
Some, not most.
Right.
We're talking about majority. It's never a one size fit all.
Now we're going to touch that. What about that the size thing? You hit it. Now, I told you I had questions. And she's going right to those questions. I ain't even got
to go right to it. All right, let's get it.
Let's get it. Okay,
let's get it.
Now, what about the size? The size for men and the size for women? Because see,
it's a touchy subject. First of all, okay, so my husband likes to cuddle. Keyword, your husband. Mm-hmm. That's okay. It's a safe space for him. But somebody who's dating, a man who's dating and trying to find someone, they're not going to cuddle with every woman that they lay down with.
Oh, that's true.
Now, back to size.
Back to the size.
Men are obsessed with their penis. And I think they've always been since, little boys. Does size matter? Me personally, I say no. I am rare. Most women, most men think that size has a larger impact than what is actually needed. And I think the reason being is because, especially for women, like if they're dissatisfied in the bedroom, they look at they got to find the reason why. What can they equate that with? They don't know about stroke techniques. They can't say like they can say it was a time. They can say it was the size. They can't say that you're rare. I know I'm rare. They can't say that it was based upon, stroke techniques. He don't know the angles. They can't say my elasticity, is stretched this month. So because that's another thing women don't understand. A lot of people don't understand is that women's hormones influence the tightness of their vaginal canal as well. So there are certain times of the month where she will actually be tighter, certain times of the month where she will actually be looser. So if she has sex with somebody on the night that she loose, she not gonna feel much, period. Especially if she don't know how to grip. So when it comes down to size, I think it's more so learning the fundamentals of the body and learning the fundamentals of sex that would maximize the experience. Now, I'm not talking about micro penis. That's a different story. But I am talking about 4 inches and above. Micro penis is 3.5 and under even.
That's still small. That's still small. That's what he's talking about. Irregardless.
With the size.
You understand what I'm saying?
I'm talking about.
I've heard most women that said, I've had some women say that some of the men that they were with were very short, short staff.
Yeah, they pee on their balls.
Basically they still a baby. It hasn't they grown, but that part ain't reach up to the maturity and age, basically.
That sounds like I'm afraid of micro penises. Like
what you just said, you rare. So why you saying micro?
I didn't say micro. I said I'm talking about anything outside of micro, like bigger, 4 inches or above. I'm not talking about micro. Micro is 3.5. That's scary to me. And no offense to anybody else, but yeah.
Okay, now I'm curious. Why you say it's scary? Why is it scary?
First of all, let me address that comment. 4 inches is not, I'm talking about medically diagnosed micro penis, which is 3.5 inches or below. 4 inches may be considered micro to some. To me, I call it small. Small and above is okay. Like small to average is okay. But I say that micro is scary because it put me in a mindset of just like you said, like a little boy. Like that make me feel perverted. Like you can be this grown man. I have 3 boys. Like I change their diapers, I wipe their butt, like wash them up. So if I'm down there, that's with my mind because it put me in the mindset of like, like this is a child. I can't do that. I can't even think about it. Like that's disturbing.
You do have a limit of rareness.
Yeah, I do. Now you had spoke about women and their looseness and their tightness and their gripping. How can women go about gripping? Because there used to be a thing where individuals say she had that snapper where it felt like she was biting.
Vice grips.
Yeah, those vice grips. How do women work on?
Come to me.
Come to you.
Come to me. I'm gonna teach you how to grip. I'm gonna teach you the rainbow effect. I'm gonna teach you the finish him technique because I also think I know that there's different levels to gripping.
You got a Mortal Kombat class?
Dude, it's called the finish him technique. Send them screaming every time. And it's not only like that I say it, but when I teach my clients this, the same results from men and from their partner as well. Screaming your name, asking you what the fuck that, what are you doing to my D, like all of those amazing things. But anyway, it's not just that basic gripping is doing a Kegel on a D. I'm not basic. I don't teach basic. But if that's what they want to learn and do your Kegels on a D.
Mhm.
Right at that.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
you want to take it to the next level? Come to me.
Mm. Okay. Now, hold on. Hold on.
You want that spice? You gotta
Gotta
hit
hit that
that. No.
after she
No,
flipped.
no, no, no.
That's the
No.
key KY. No. No. I'll Facebook user. No. No. We're
No.
not doing the backfield in motion. Okay. I don't do the Brown Town. I'm sorry. I'm pink flink, baby. No.
Now, another question is the time that individuals is inside of the vajayjay. Now, some people say that if the vajayjay is good, then he won't be there long. Some say if he's there for a long period of time, it's trash. Now, which one is it?
If he not in there long, it's good. If he in there a long time, it's trash. It's neither, because his body, he can be trained to go for 5 minutes period. That don't mean your cookie good. That just mean and then sometimes if it's trash, he do want to get in and out. I don't think it's that simple, and that you can just say, oh, if he in there 2 minutes, then that mean my cookie was good. No, it just mean he was ready to nut. Like he couldn't control it.
Yeah.
Oh,
No, because you hear that a lot of times when individuals have excuses about being there a short period of time. And not talking about the 1 minute men, because I think that's something that they have to deal with. You know what I mean? That's something they have to deal with. But how can they work on their stamina?
The man?
Yes.
What I heard is think about baseball. Like you got to distract yourself. Yeah, hold on really quick.
Got you.
But you have to okay. You have to learn how to control your body, how to train your body, and get control, basically, for lack of better words. Some people do it mentally, some people use numbing cream, but you have to get to a point where you do actually train your body to last longer, practice it, visualize it, like stay focused on the time frame that you want to be in there for. So say like a man is 2 minute man. If he can train himself to go 3 minutes next time you work on 4 minutes and then release. Like y'all know y'all body, pay attention to what happens before you actually climax, such as, is the breathing getting deeper? Does the, start to tingle? And when you start to feel those things, pull back. Don't keep doing the same thing. It's going to take you out the game. So stop doing it. Like if you know it's gonna burn, take your hand off the stove. Like don't keep doing something that is gonna take you out the game.
We hope it don't burn. But
got another question right quick. Does she have clients who are dry and cannot really get properly wet? That's the question.
1000%. Yep. The key with this is finding out why you're not properly wet. It could be just drinking more water. It can be eating more fruit. It can be if you smoke automatically dry you up. Uh-oh, sorry guys. Okay, I do have to hop off. I got another training that I'm hosting, so I need to go into that.
Now we need to bring you back for part 2 because I was late coming on. I apologize.
Yes.
But we need to reschedule you to come back because I got more questions. I got a whole lot more questions.
Yeah.
All right. Well, just let me know. But it was a pleasure speaking to you guys, and thank you so much for having me on.
Charelle, before you go, could you please let everybody know how they get in contact with you and reach out to you, what platforms and everything, so they can got you.
Thank you. You guys can find me on IG, on Instagram at Charelle E. Thomas, which is, wait, there go my name right there. That's my handle on Instagram. You can reach out and find me that way. I'm also on YouTube as Charelle Thomas as well.
All right. Thank you so much. But I'll be in contact so we can reschedule. Okay. And
Thank you, guys.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Take care of yourself.
All right. Have a good day. Peace.
Yeah.
Peace.
Peace. Explosive show. Yo, you warned me. You warned me. But you know what? Again, great information and context of the subject, because you know, certain things people are going to are shy from saying. There's certain things people are outspoken with and all that stuff. But those who don't, and the knowledge is out there, now you know where you can go to get it. You understand what I'm saying? And you heard it right here.
Yo, I'm telling you right now.
I can't wait for part 2.
I told you. Oh yeah, I'm gonna be on time for part 2. Pardon me.
Yeah, it's so good.
Yo, she's
thank you, Miss C, Ms. C.
Miss C.
Thank you. Yeah, Miss C. It's all good. Thank you.
I want to thank all our followers and listeners for tuning in for a great show. Hope that you got something from it. Also, tomorrow, tune in to Miss Amber Pratt, where we're going to be talking about something totally opposite. It's a dope situation. It's about individuals who have been practicing, you know what I'm saying, practicing out here in the streets, running around putting a privates on the crap table and they're shooting it. And they're coming up with diseases and don't even know that they have them. And they're transferring this energy onto their partner. So when you go to the doctor, it's more than just chlamydia. It's more than just gonorrhea, and it's more than just crabs that's out there. You make sure that you get tested for everything, because when it comes down to it, your life, you know what I'm saying, could be on the line. And there's some things that are just as common to catch as the cold. Yes. So please, just be mindful that you'll be living with something, and the stats say that when you get 50 years old, about 85 to 90% of people are walking around with herpes, especially those who have been promiscuous majority of their life. So make sure that you tune in tomorrow so we can address these situations. Okay, well,
I want to know who that Facebook user is that came to me with that comment.
I don't know, Kay. They want
you want the vice grip. You gotta hit that back door, G. After the sheep flee, that's the key. Listen, you need to come somewhere along the line. You need to call in, because you need to talk. It ain't happening.
Hey,
I'm glad you said what you said. It's all good.
The thing is, the show, we have individuals on our show. We have individuals that are listening, and also want to shout out Honduras, Mexico, Indonesia, South Africa, the UK, Canada. These are the individuals who are subscribing and liking our show, and we want to make sure that we address every last one of them. I want to say thank you for your support, and we love y'all, and this means a lot to us. We have been speaking about it all day today, you know, and that's something that we want to address. We love all of y'all for supporting us for as long as y'all have, and just keep supporting us, keep liking and subscribing, keep telling individuals about our show, and we will bring you the best of the best. And thank you for everything that y'all have given us and inspiring us to be greater every show.
Yeah. I want to give a shout out too, man. If everybody that's out there, be careful, be safe, because there's these viruses going around that's really doing things. So I want to give a shout out to my mother, Khadijah, and my brother, Curtis. They both caught COVID again. And, you know, I'm here now taking care of my moms and stuff like that. So if you got a loved one, man, protect yourself the best way you can. Some people are agreement with the shot, some people are not, but we're just talking about in good health in general. Get yourself checked. Black men, go to the doctor, get your physicals. All right, check yourselves out. There's no pride in that, man. Let that go and get yourself checked out beforehand, and don't wait till the last minute to do things, man. We need to be around a lot more longer for our kids and their kids. You know what I'm saying? So just look out for yourself. Black woman, get yourself checked out as well. We love you. We need you. You are a part of us, and we can't make these beautiful babies without you. You know what I mean? So just protect yourself and get well. All right. Peace and blessings. Yo, we are out. We thank everybody for tuning in. And this is the Real2reel360 show. Thank our special guest, Charelle Thomas, for coming on, blazing. Yo, it was great. And we'll be having her on again because I see the comments. So, yes, we definitely will be having her. Thanks to everybody for their comments and questions and concerns about this show. We will see you when we see you soon. All right?
Mm-hmm.
Peace.
Yo, ladies and gentlemen, we starting to come to the end of the show. Right now, I want to take the time out and thank our guests for coming on. Also, too, I want to make sure that y'all listening and subscribing and tell a friend and keep sharing because we're going to keep bringing y'all the real content. You know what I mean? So, DJ KY, brother, take us up out of here, son. Peace.
I want to give a big shout out to the nation of gods and earth, to all the human families on the planet Earth. I say peace. But you are subscribers, don't you continue to watch and listen to the show. So each and every time we come on, I give a big shout out of love, peace, and happiness. To be the man, woman, and child of the you and I first. It's not for us to disperse. We bring the best, not the worst. We thank you once again for tuning in to the Real2reel360. Bring a friend to hit that like and subscribe so we continue to grow to bring more knowledge and wisdom to you upon our show. You make it possible for us to do what we do. Now it's time I end it just the way